For millennia, the story of Noah's flood has resonated through cultures, a tale of divine wrath and a fresh start for humanity. But is it a literal historical event, a localized catastrophe amplified by time, or a myth rich in symbolism? One of the earliest flood narratives appears in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Utnapishtim, the Mesopotamian Noah, recounts his tale to Gilgamesh, describing a great flood sent by the gods to punish humanity. Similarities between the Gilgamesh epic and the biblical account are striking. A divine warning, the construction of an ark, the release of birds to find land, and a sacrifice of thanksgiving after the waters recede. This raises a question. Did the biblical story draw upon earlier Mesopotamian traditions? Secular history tells us that Mesopotamia was prone to devastating floods. The region, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, experienced frequent and unpredictable inundations. Could a particularly severe flood have become the kernel of the Noah's Ark narrative? The Bible describes a global flood, covering the entire earth and wiping out all land-based life, except for those on the ark. However, geological evidence presents a challenge to this interpretation. Geologists have found no worldwide sedimentary layer corresponding to a global flood event within the time frame suggested by biblical chronology. Furthermore, the sheer volume of water required to cover the entire planet is difficult to account for. Some scholars propose that the term world in the biblical text may have referred to the known world of the ancient Hebrews, which was largely confined to the Near East. Thus, the flood could have been geographically limited, but still devastating to the people who experienced it. Anthropological studies reveal that flood myths are widespread across cultures around the globe. From ancient Greece to China to the Americas, stories of great floods appear, often linked to themes of divine punishment, purification, or renewal. These cross-cultural narratives suggest a shared human experience of catastrophic flooding, perhaps triggered by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, or by local environmental disasters. The stories could have then been adapted and reinterpreted within different cultural contexts. The concept of a vessel used to survive the flood is also found in various cultures. Whether it's a boat, a raft, or even a hollowed-out log, these vessels symbolize humanity's resilience and ability to endure even the most devastating events. Many theologians view the story of Noah's flood as a symbolic narrative, emphasizing its moral and spiritual lessons rather than its literal historicity. The flood represents God's judgment on human wickedness and the opportunity for a new covenant with humanity. The dove returning with an olive branch becomes a symbol of hope and reconciliation. This interpretation allows for a deeper understanding of the flood narrative, even if its literal historicity is questioned. Regardless of whether the Noah's flood was a global event, a localized catastrophe, or a myth, its enduring power lies in its message of judgment, redemption, and the importance of humanity's relationship with the environment. Today, as we face the challenges of climate change and rising sea levels, the story of the flood serves as a potent reminder of the potential consequences of our actions and the need to protect our planet. In conclusion, the story of Noah's flood is a complex tapestry woven from threads of history, myth, and theology. Secular history provides evidence of devastating floods in Mesopotamia, while biblical texts present a narrative of divine judgment. Geological evidence casts doubt on a global flood, while cross-cultural myths suggest a shared human experience of catastrophic inundations. Ultimately, the veracity of the Noah's flood story depends on one's interpretive lens. While a literal global interpretation faces significant challenges, the narrative's enduring power lies in its symbolic message. Whether viewed as a divine event or a global myth, The story reminds us of the destructive potential of humanity and the importance of striving for a more just and sustainable world.